Welcome to the Friday evening Quantum Healing Collective. Our primary purpose is to create a community of like-minded, like-hearted individuals that inspire, encourage, and support one another along our individual and collective journey towards personal transformation. Our focus does not rest upon what beliefs, habits, or behaviors have led us to this group, rather on the vision we hold for our futures and how our growing collective can help support us in the achievement of our goals. We're not a religious group, nor do we follow a specific spiritual tradition. We respect and honor all forms of both spiritual and personal growth, so long as they cause no harm. We don't follow any specific literature at this time, and we are open to sharing the various methods of transformation that have worked for all of our members. Our group exists solely to support and inspire growth in both the individual and the collective. Thank you again for being here. Kyle is going to introduce tonight's speaker, who is going to be opening our meeting with a heart coherence meditation. That is Leah.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Leah. Start us off with a heart coherence meditation. Thank you, Shayla.
Yep.
Okay, hi. Let me just turn our music on.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm so excited to introduce our speaker today, Troy Casey. Most of you know him, the certified health nut. He's a world-renowned life coach and healer who has scoured the earth, searching for the most powerful health and healing modalities. Troy has devoted his life to restoring the planet. His vision for clean air, water, soil, and equitable systems for all mankind in his lifetime drives his passionate work for personal and planetary wellness. So welcome, Troy, my brother. It's so good to have you here. What we'll do is start off with a couple of questions, man, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm game for anything. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so delighted to be on this caliber of a call, and thank you so much.
So what we'll do is I'll start off with a couple of questions, and then we'll open it up for everyone else to ask some questions. And I'm a breathwork guy like you, and I saw recently you and Rick on a call. Rick is another brother of ours who does a lot of healthy eating, but you guys were doing this breathwork exercise where you were moving your hands up and down in the air. What's that one all about? And could you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that learned Kundalini and teach that, and my friend Will Blunderfield up in Vancouver Island, really amazing guy. He teaches sexual kung fu and Kundalini and naked yoga, and he's really out there. And when he came to LA, he taught me that, and I've used it whenever I can remember. I've learned so many different, breathing styles, and it kind of represents a temper tantrum, and it's good for anger. And so, I'm always working to refine all aspects of myself. And so we did that with Rich. Rich came to Sedona last week, and he's actually coming up here tonight. And
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what that is. Do you want to do it? I don't like talking.
Yeah, let's do it. Do you think it's guidable real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
We can do it. I don't like to talk about breath work. I like to do it.
Let's do it.
And so we're gonna breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, and then put your hands in a fist, and you're gonna bring them up. And so the exhale, you want to get your belly button into the heart. Okay. And so it goes like this. So inhale and exhale out of the mouth. Inhale through the nose. All right, here we go. Start picking up speed and bring into your mind what you're pissed off about. Give that energy, have that negative thought bring energy into your life. Right here, right now in this exercise to release it. Give it right, bring it right to the front and center of your neocortex. You can't do this wrong. Just keep going, guys. Keep going, guys. Get pissed. Inhale the way, exhale the way. Hold that. Inhale and hold that. Come back to normal, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose.
Couldn't think of a better way to start that one off, brother.
Well, yeah, you know, and Leela brought us in with such a gentle meditation, and you know, brings you into the heart. That's good, you know. This stuff really just that stuff just kind of really blows your mind, you know. And but yeah, clears the head, and we can get into some other stuff. So,
yeah, I want to follow up with a little bit of that more masculine energy, and I've seen some of the speeches you've given recently on that topic. What's moving through you in regards to like some of the stuff you're doing out there in Sedona with the men, the importance of it right now?
Yeah, well, you know, people get on me quite a bit, and actually part of my energetic template and my soul's journey is to, you know, integrate my shadow. And I think all of our journey is really to integrate the shadow, you know, not run away from it. So many times do I hear on the internet, oh, you know, it's your ego, or Troy Casey's got a big ego. And it's like, everybody's got an ego. The ego gets you out of bed. You can't be throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We definitely want to integrate it and integrate the light and the dark. I think what happens when we push the dark underneath the rug, we get what we see in the Catholic Church, the pedophilia, right? You push that sexual energy and all that sexual control and control and mind control, and it festers, and it grows mold and parasites. And then it comes out and it wreaks havoc, right? So the idea is to ultimately, you know, look underneath the rug, get your skeletons out of the closet, bring everybody to the table, because they're at the party anyway, right? They're just running your subconscious and your unconscious self-sabotage programs. And so, you know, my intense energy, anger, I've been doing a lot of shamanic work on it recently. I've got a good practitioner out there in Cape Cod near you guys. And, you know, the last session that I worked on him with, they talked about this defender that's inside of me, you know, and it makes sense because, you know, I walk around and it's like friend or foe, fight or fuck, let's go,
Right.
and that's gotten me in a lot of trouble, right? It's been able to guard me, and maybe that's what happened when I was a child. That type of energy came up, and so it's been most of my healing journey to work to integrate that. And I do some of this work with men. I'll talk about the men's group in a second, but the one video that you're talking about is the freedom rally that we had here in Sedona. It's a worldwide freedom rally. And I spoke at that. We had patriots there, and we had a Mayan priestess that brought in some really good prayers. And we had a whole group of people. But my take on it is, look, men have been gifted 10 times the testosterone of a woman. And so we have our natural sacred roles as men to set up the perimeter, protect the women and children, know what's on the horizon to eat, and know what's on the horizon that can potentially eat us or penetrate the perimeter and do harm. And I think we've lost our sacred roles. And you also see what's happening in the world today with social engineering, everything from Disney, Prince Charming, Princess, Happily Ever After, a lot of this programming. And then you add to it feminism. Second wave came up in 1973. Gloria Steinem worked with the CIA. The purpose of that was to get two people to pay into the tax structure. And ultimately, it's a Marxist ploy. And I don't want to go too political sideways, but really pay attention, guys, quantum healers out there. We've been sold a bill of not so good goods, right? Under the guise of this is better, this is more advancement. But nothing is worse than dividing the family unit, separating the family. Divide and conquer is the oldest trick in the book. Rulers have always used that trick because they don't need to deploy armies. That people will just fight amongst themselves and be good little slaves. And this is what's happening. Why do I say this about feminism? 1973. My mother didn't start working till 1979. Now at 75 years old, she has to have two jobs because the housing crisis. She lost houses in that and her investments, and my grandmother's will. And so she has to work two jobs. And so the elders should be guiding the people of my age and or paying attention to the children. And my question to people out there that believe in this whole idea of feminism or have been sold this bill of goods, who's watching the children? What are the natural divine feminine roles? Is to nourish and nurture the family and ultimately the children, which is the future of our species. Well, who's watching the children right now? The state's watching the children. What happened to the nutrition in the food? And there's no blaming or pointing fingers. We have just lost our way as a species, and including men. Men have become soft. We've been sold soy milk. We've been sold vegan diets. We've been sold all these ideas to weaken the human being, very subversive eugenics ideas to weaken the human being, to divide us and to divide ourselves from ourselves as well. We've lost our connection to ourselves. We lost our connection to the earth, and we lost our connection to our brothers and sisters, mainly because of ideas and also because of commerce, education. We're in our industrial age school system, and most of us have gotten at least 12 years of that. The design for that is to comply, conform, and consume. And so you add to that the media programming through Disney, which owns ABC. The list goes on of the dysfunction, and it's all subversive. It's mind control, programming, brainwashing. If you study brainwashing, if you watch The Century of Self and you understand public relations and how all the technology from Sigmund Freud was taken by his nephew, Edward Bernays, and they put this in through media and public relations and selling economic and political ideas through news programs, which has always been pay per play, and television commercials. And I will add to that, the definition of pornography is all over TV, whether that's in television programming implied and or television commercials with scantily clad women, and lust is sold. If you don't buy the toothpaste or the car, you won't get the woman, etc. So a lot of these things are implied, and it's very subversive. It's not outwardly presented. It's all implied, and we've been programmed with this for a very long time. We've lost our way. So my clarion call is out to men. We do have the sacred gift of anger. If we are to be fully integrated, then there is no emotion that is more sacred than the other, right? Because we are whole human beings. We are all children of God. And so if there's something inside of us that wants to come out, you might want to ask the person who's getting angry, what are they angry about, right? So that, that is very important. And then my clarion call out to men is the air, the water, and the soil has all been poisoned. And this is affecting the women and children. Who else is going to speak up? And we have that sacred gift of anger to come out of us. But again, I postulate that between the xenoestrogens, the plasticizers in industrial chemicals, and the industrialization of oil, petrochemical byproducts are used in pharmaceutical drugs. They're used in agriculture. These things have blocked receptor sites and feminized women. And you got contraceptives and other pharmaceutical drugs that are in the water that's reconstituted and fed back to the municipal food supply. You've got fluorine, fluoride, chloride, chloramine, all in chlorine in the water supply. And this calcifies the pineal gland. It shuts down your ability to think properly, your neocortex, ultimately, your inner vision. And so this stuff is layered. And how many people are talking about this? We're just all going along and good ideas, and then we're sold, race, for example. We were sold this whole idea with BLM. I left Los Angeles because of the riots that happened during that time. Of course, Black lives matter. Everybody's lives matter. Human life matters. And so when was the last time I saw a movement about people talking about the air, the water, and the soil? Not too many people are talking about it. Yes, Erin Brockovich, there was a movie made about her. Now, she's a powerful woman. I do believe she's intermasculine, but she's a powerful woman. Less. And we are both balanced, masculine and feminine, and some have more masculine or feminine traits that they lead with. And so my clarion call is for balance amongst the species, balance internal. The Gandhi said, become the change you wish to see in the world. So we must find balance inside of ourselves. And that's what my book, Ripped at 50, is all about. It is about as above, so below, which is the natural law of correspondence. I encourage everyone out there to study natural law, Hermetic code, understand the laws that govern the third dimension that we're actually in. And so my call to men is to find out what their hearts desire and then program the mind, which is a tool that cuts through the fabric of reality. The Wright brothers wanted to fly like an eagle, and everybody told them they were crazy. And now we've got plenty of planes going over, and we don't think much about it. So the mind, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Most people are not connected to their hearts. Most people want to do this, that, or the other thing, but they can't because of money and their programming behind the money. My clarion call out to men, and when I work with men, is to figure out their dream, purpose, and legacy from their heart's desire. And then I teach more yin than yang to men, because we're all yanged out to dry right now. Everybody is facing burnout between the food, the chemicals, the electromagnetic pollution and radiation, psychic density. And so we are all stressed out, and this affects the hormones. And so I help men bring balance back into their lives, getting very clear on what is necessary to take care of your basic biology, physiology, and psychology, so you can go out there and be an effective human being, an effective man. And ultimately, man goes out and penetrates the perimeter, and we can create right? And so, and not that women don't have this same gift. I think it's very important that men do their sacred work and women do their sacred work, and we come together as whole human beings and solve our problems. And so that's in essence what I do. And I take men through sweat lodges and ice baths and breath work and holotropic breath work. And I do it all, but it's more yin than yang.
Beautiful stuff, man. And if you ever want to set something up or have us set something up out here in New England for a weekend or something, there's plenty of men that would show up, for your guidance. I would love to learn from you, brother.
Well, I have an army of wellness warriors out there, the Man Clan Army, and I have a good group of guys in Boston.
Oh,
Rob
no way.
Carney, a good friend of mine, and he's out there and he does ice and iron. I think at least I'll connect you with him.
Awesome. Thank you, Troy. Before we open it up for questions, I had one come in from Brian Scott, who you interviewed with the other day. If you guys haven't checked out that interview, it was a great interview. But Brian said he wished that he got to ask you about Shivambu. I don't know about Shivambu, but he said, could you ask Troy about that? So that was my call.
Well, Shivambu is the ancient art of urine therapy. And
Of course.
I think the foremost book on that is J.W. Armstrong's The Water of Life. The basic technology that I know, and I learn the basics, and then I implement and practice. And if they work for me, great. If not, I throw it away. I've been practicing Shivambu for about 17 years or so. About 5 years ago, my friend, Dr. P.P. Shivambu, I nicknamed him Dr. P.P. Shivambu. He cured himself of testicular cancer. He was a Swedish national living in America. And he went back to Sweden for chemotherapy. I think they took out his testicle and they gave him chemo and they said, hey, it didn't work. And, chemo is sold as, something that works, but I think it works only about 5% of the time. And so he was 30 years old and they said, hey, I think we got to take out your lymph nodes. He's like, my lymph nodes? I think I might need those things. So he was smart enough to have his intuition and be like, no, as opposed to take the pressure from the medical establishment. And they pressured him for sure. So he went home and he found Shivambu on the internet, studied it, and he realized that he wanted to do a urine fast, and he fasted on his urine for 3 weeks. And when he went back to the hospital, they couldn't find the cancer.
Wow.
And they didn't believe his answer, and they gave him a hard time as well. And so, people don't really talk about it because it's drinking your pee-pee. And so I think I made a post once upon a time, or I talked about it, and he came to one of my workshops, and he was very impressed. And he's actually the one who taught me breath work. And again, I'm the type of guy, I've taken a Kundalini class here or there. I see, Wim Hof. I never studied his program or whatever. And but Eric taught me some basic breath work, and that breath work helped me through my divorce. I was waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning, paranoid. What am I going to do with my life? I'm losing my family. And so, again, I just started breathing, and he challenged me to a 7-day urine fast at the same time, which really cleaned my body out. So the basic science behind it is, and I'm not drinking pee-pee, this is turmeric, this is golden. He challenged me to 7 days, and I did that. And so the basic premise is it has antibodies, hair of the dog, amino acids, and stem cells. And the topical stuff is amazing, and you can ferment it. In topical, you put it on your skin. It makes your skin so youthful. I mean, I'm 55, and I got wrinkles and stuff, but I think my skin's doing okay. And then I did aged urine enemas, and the flukes that came out of me, liver flukes, and shit that came out of me, I was truly amazed. And my stomach has never been flatter. And most of my studies for the last 33 years was trying to get my gut on point because I had indigestion. starting as a Versace model 33 years ago. And so my whole journey, and there's two forces that guide everything on this planet: yin or yang, positive or negative, light, dark. And so your curse is your gift, right? You flip that yin yang coin over. My curse was my own digestion. I had to struggle with that for 20 years. Gluten piece didn't come on till like 20 years into my studies. But cleanse and detox was always number one. I did my first 10-day juice fast about 33 years ago. I started juicing, and lo and behold, I got results. And so then I studied herbs and took herbs and tried, dandelion as a diuretic to get the bloating out of my body. And so your curse is your gift. And after 33 years, I've gained some knowledge.
Beautiful stuff, man. Yeah, so what we'll do is if you have a question, if you could raise your Zoom hand, we'll start calling on people. In the meantime, as people start raising their hand, how can we as a Quantum Healing Collective support you? Is there any ways we can support Troy Casey and his mission right now?
Well, I mean, you guys are already supporting me because you're on here, and I know most of your crew, and Kristen, she was the one who invited me here first time, and you guys are supporting me. I mean, watch my videos. If there's a video that inspires you, either on YouTube or Instagram, I'm on Facebook as well. Just share the love, but mainly, can I add value to you and your friends and your family? And if that's the case, then go ahead and just share that. Share the love. I'm here to give away as much as I possibly can, and I've been doing that, for so many years online. And my videos, are free, and I make a lot of videos every day. So just share the videos. If they inspire you, don't share them because I asked you to.
Yeah, and I'm halfway through your book, man. I'm loving it so far. I'm out in the Amazon right now. That's where I'm at.
I love it.
Yeah, learning about the different pillars of your journey. You want to speak to that real quick about your journey out in the Amazon?
Yeah, so I started working with an herbal company in 2005. This was probably about 6 years into my awakening. I had 3 very profound awakenings. The first one was Vipassana meditation in 1999. Right after that, I started working with Maori healers from New Zealand, indigenous Maori healers. And I had a huge wake up with them as well. And then somebody in 2005 turned me on to the herbs from the Amazon. I put them into my body, and it raised my frequency and vibration. It's very powerful. And these were commercially available herbal tinctures on the market. And they had a tea and a lot of tinctures. And they raised my frequency and vibration. And then I started studying the literature. They worked with the Shipibo Indians, which are the guardians of ayahuasca. And I said some very unique prayers back in the day when I wasn't that prayerful and spiritual. I kind of failed my way to success. I kind of just, kind of figured things out by osmosis. And I saw this woman in the literature, and I prayed that I would sit in ceremony with her. And within a year that happened. And a lot of my videos are with her on the internet, on my YouTube channel back in 2006 when I first started on YouTube. And so I started working with this company. The herbs worked. I'd been studying herbs for about 15 years previous to that. I'd studied wild herbs from Dr. Schultz. So I had a background and some knowledge on the herbs and the function of how they clean the liver, the kidneys. They supported the blood. And so I advocated, I shared them with everyone. It was a network marketing opportunity. And I've been in network marketing for 15 years, only with 2 companies, both ultimate, pure, real earth medicine. And so the company's products were phenomenal. The herbs were phenomenal. I won a trip to the Amazon in 2006. I went down, I met that shaman. I drank ayahuasca with her. I subsequently brought other groups down there where she came and sang her Icaros, the medicine songs. And I had 3 very profound visions in 2006 when I was working with her. And one was the spirit of my daughter came to me. I wasn't married. I wasn't in a relationship. And subsequently, she was my second child, and that was like 4 years later. And then the second vision was an amalgamation of my on-camera career. I'd been doing stand-up comedy at the time, and my natural medicine studies, and the certified health nut was born. And I laughed out loud right in the middle of the Amazon, and everything you see rolling out on the internet has just been an idea, a vision that I had. And so the third vision that I had was that humanity makes it from the precipice of ecological disaster. And I had been studying, the basic elements of rainforest destruction, and really started to understand the way of the world. John Perkins wrote a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman, where the World Bank goes into these third world countries, gives them bank loans, then gets Halliburton and Bechtel, US corporation, contracts to come in there and build dams, waterways, power lines. And then they ask for the money back. It's Panama, Ecuador, Chile. Anybody that doesn't pay the money back can either get their natural resources extracted at a slave wage by their inhabitants, or if they don't like that, they can send in a coup d'etat or economic sanctions, I think is the next move, then coup d'etats, then mercenaries, and then the American military, as we did with Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, anywhere that doesn't want to play ball game with the military industrial complex, then that's the way it works. And so it's a really good idea to understand that, especially when people are all doped up on the idea of racism right now. Genocidal racism is represented in filling your gas tank up in the car every day, if you look at where we get our oil from. And so, and I don't want to just leave that hanging. We are the problem, therefore we are the solution. And so it's up to us to dream into the next phase of our reality. And I ran for president of Planet Earth last year, and I won. In case you memo. And so I have a real platform. I'm ready to go toe to toe with anybody, any time of the day or night, because I've dreamed about this for so many years, and I had to work out. I worked for a for-profit company in the Amazon, and the nonprofit companies would always poo-poo that. And then they would get these ordinances where they couldn't cut down the trees, so the Indians couldn't feed themselves. And so it's good ideas, but they don't really match up. So I'm like, how can I call forth the major solutions? So my platform as president of Planet Earth is free energy, the gift economy, permaculture, and self-care education. Free energy, again, whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. Tesla already invented it, right? You pull it right out of the ethers using the magnetic resonance of the earth. You can call it zero-point technology. Nassim Harameyn's trying to work on that. You can call it cold fusion. The physicists were having success with it in the 80s before they shut that down. John Harrison was melting steel beams at room temperature. And we've heard of water run combustion engines as well. There's a guy in Australia. I think you can watch the video on YouTube. The bottom line is it's already in the template of man, the consciousness of man, the idea sphere. We only need call it forth. And so whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. And so the Wright brothers wanted to fly like an eagle. Steve Jobs wanted to put a handheld computer in everybody's hand. So dream the impossible dream. So free energy, start talking about it. Watch 4 or 5 Tesla documentaries on YouTube. They're available. Read any kind of books that you can find on Nikola Tesla. And so start to understand that we can harness this energy that's all around us. The universe is full of energy. And so free energy will set us free. It'll subjugate the oil wars, the oil pipelines, the pollution, the petrochemical byproducts that are in agribusiness products. They use the oil to stick pesticides onto the plants. Plastics, plasticizers, whole industry wrapped around plastics. And then our economy is based on the petrodollar. And so the gift economy comes in. And if you want to reference this a little bit deeper, who's given more thought to it, it's Michael Tellinger in his Ubuntu movement. Ubuntu is a Zulu word that means contributionism. When brothers and sisters, each one of us have different joys and loves that we love to do. Some people like to cook food. Some people like to grow food. Some people like to take care of children, teach children. Some people like to make children, like me. And so, so my point is public speaking is the number one feared thing for a human being to do. I don't have a problem with that. So my point is everyone's got their gifts. We find out what our gifts are and we give them freely. And so the Amish are still doing barn raising, right? You get a community of people, you build a house in a day or a weekend or a week or whatever. And so you're going to need community to do that. And so the gift economy is another one of my solutions. And again, these ideas can be flushed out, but human beings are innovative. They're genius. And Einstein said we're only using 5% of our brain. So gift economy, permaculture, food's free. Drop the seed in the soil. You make sure the soil's, fluffy. It's permaculture, and we can eat. It's abundance, abundanza. Right now, we're being sold scarcity through the social engineering platforms. And the final one, self-care education, which is aligned with biomimicry. Biomimicry states life creates conditions conducive for life. And so if a spider can build something that's 5 times the strength of steel at aqueous solution at room temperature, we don't need forced chemical bonds and making all this toxic waste. And so we align with biomimicry, and self-care education is one of them. I'm going to take care of myself and what I put in the pie hole, what I put on my skin, and the local environment around me. And that starts to spread out. If people just take care of themselves, and that's what my book is all about, as above, so below. If we take care of ourselves, of course we're going to take care of the natural environment, and then ultimately get together and dream up bigger ideas, because we got 7.5 billion, 8 billion people on the planet. So we need big solutions right now.
Let's go. Love that answer, man. Pump me up. I see Leah with a hand up, and then Rochelle after. Go ahead, Leah.
Okay. So all of the female, male, masculine, feminine stuff is very interesting to me. And I, as part of what I do, help women tap into a more feminine way of being in their business and their life and their relationships. So everything that has to do with love, romance, men and women is exciting to me. So I want to know, well, first of all, it might be too personal, but I want to know what your experience is as a very masculine man in your relationships with women, and if it's then a bit of a roadblock that it's hard to find a woman who has a very feminine vibe, and if that's caused some angst in your life.
Well, I think it's virtually impossible. Well, it's not virtually impossible, but here's the thing. We've allowed the chemicals in the soil. That's a stress. Women don't feel safe right now. We've allowed electromagnetic radiation and pollution. That's a stress. Women don't feel safe right now. There's all these ideas that we've been sold. Women aren't allowed to stay with their children. What is more profound? What do women really truly want? They want to be with their children, not farm them out to nannies. They don't want to inject them with poisons from a doctor, right? And they know this at the soul level. So women have gone into their masculine for some form of protection. And so it's very challenging to find a woman that feels safe enough to be in their feminine. And again, this is not about pointing fingers. This is really to call a spade a spade. Let's stop bullshitting ourselves. We're all just trying to get along and, hey, just love and kindness. Well, the world's not very loving and kind right now. So we first have to be, cognitive of what's happening. And then nothing is more powerful than feminine energy. Masculine may have more physical strength, but a woman in her feminine will melt any man's heart. And what I teach my women clients is, because nature's first law is self-preservation. So everyone wants to get laid at the biochemical level, and men have 10 times the testosterone. So I don't care where anyone is, and especially you add 99% of men are on pornography. So they're sizing you up to get into your pants ultimately. Now it's a little abject, right? And people say, oh yeah, we're more spiritual than that. Oh yeah, prove it. We're killing each other and we're all watching porn. So my point is that if women can do a lot of the work that you're teaching, and a lot of the practitioners on the quantum healing, a lot of you guys out there are already doing this sacred work. So the more you can teach people to tap into their natural essence, and then if somebody comes up and gets in their space, I'm sure you teach this already as a coach, and most of you guys are coaches on here, you set up a boundary, right? And you get present with them. Presence sets up the boundary right there. How can I help you? What else can you? Because a real alpha male is going to ask for a date. Plain and simple. They're not going to sidewind and go, oh my God, we got to tune up your chakras. Oh, let's meditate together. You know, that's just a bunch of sidewinding bullshit, right? And I know other people that use plant medicines and they try and get in women's pants that way too. Yeah. So let's be very clear, especially we're all healers on this platform, probably anyways. And so let's get very clear. Let's get very present with who and what we are. Come with your essence. You square off on the shoulders and the eyeballs. How else can I help you? How can I serve you? Right? And then stay in your essence, but be present with your boundary. And nothing is more powerful than a woman that is in her feminine power. And already, I mean, there's so much disdain about men, and obviously rape is horrible, and there's rape and pedophilia going on across the planet right now, and it's being pushed underneath the rug, especially in the Catholic Church. Just watch the movie Spotlight, which is basically in your neck of the woods, the old Boston over there. Yeah. So this stuff exists. So let's not act like it doesn't exist. And so they're trying to squash the male toxic masculinity if you raise your voice and all that stuff. But the fact of the matter is we need the strong males speaking up. We need females speaking up, using their masculine energy, because we're masculine feminine, right? We're balanced, to speak up against injustices. No. That's not cool. It's not cool on my watch. Yes, this is going on, right? No, it's not a conspiracy theory. Watch the movie Spotlight. It won the Academy Award in 2015 or something. And so this type of stuff goes on. And so being present, that's the biggest thing. And then you get with your meditation, you get with who you are, what's your essence, what's your dream, what's your legacy. When I work with men, my work is more done with men because men need a purpose. They're like an arrow cutting through, the fabric of reality. It's like, what can they do? If they're just programmed to chase paper, then they'll just do anything. And they're drinking soy milk. They're like, oh yeah, whatever, right? But women, what do women want to do? Women want to make babies. When they get around 35, that alarm starts clicking. Am I right? You're a coach, right? That alarm starts clicking. They want to start making babies. And the world's a really weird place. Postpartum depression is real. Why? Because the minerals aren't in the soil. The baby sucks it out of your bone marrow and it sucks it out of your tissues. And then we've got all this programming around skinny bitch, right? And so people are confused about it. And then you got these vegan diets and all sorts of confusing elements around people. And then their hormones get decimated after they have children. And women shouldn't be on caffeine either. I don't like using the word shouldn't. Women have hormones for two, and caffeine raises cortisol. Elevated chronic cortisol creates inflammation and disease. And women need that. Women need 22% body fat to have children, a healthy child, right? So, and things are completely out of balance, and everyone wants to get back to their bikini body after childbirth. Well, try breastfeeding, which is not socially acceptable, right? Nestle wanted to get women off the breast, so they got them on formula, which was poison, right? And oh my God, I don't want to go down too many rabbit holes, but we've really tied ourselves in knots, and it's time to really be present with all of this stuff and knowledgeable. And if you need references, I have them for you guys. But be knowledgeable about our food supply, what it takes for biology, for physiology, for psychology. What do women truly want? They want to nourish and nurture the children, right? That is what our species, prime directive human beings out there, and that means you, everyone out there, prime directive is stay alive. Part of prime directive is nature's first law, procreate, self-preservation. This is it. Let's stop bullshitting ourselves. So nothing is more fundamental than having children, than having a family. And if you get together, yes, you are going to need the man, not just his fucking money, right? Yeah, you can get a divorce and get a lawyer and get the courts on your side or whatever, but that's going to cause problems with the children. And we're going to keep replicating our problems. So if you're going to have children, get a man that you can stay with and hang out with. Try having no sex with them for like 9 months. Try that. See if you actually like the guy or the girl. Because the shadow comes out to play when the honeymoon's over.
Damn,
Thank
Troy.
you for all that.
Great question, Leah. That was awesome. All right, I see Rochelle with her hand up. Oh, I think you're muted again. One more time.
There, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't so much have a question as a comment, and it is following Leah's when he did mention at the beginning, you know, the feminine and the masculine. And I just wanted to say how much I appreciate that, because I kind of get odd looks sometimes when I try and explain that to people, including some odd looks from the guy that I'm seeing, where he's just sometimes it's like, do you really think that way? You know, are you just like saying that? And I'm like, no, I really feel that way. So I appreciate that you are getting that out there, that it's okay to be masculine. You know, we've emasculated men for so long, and it's okay to be masculine. And you are right. That is what I want. I don't want, yes, well, okay, I won't use adjectives, but I want a masculine man. And that doesn't mean someone who's going to dominate me. And I think people misunderstand that. I'm saying someone who's comfortable in their masculinity, who, you know, wants to take on that role, wants to provide, wants to be there and to help. Because as a woman, you want to feel safe, right? And it does go back to, you know, thousands of years ago, whatever, where the man went out and the woman stayed, and the man, you know, was there to protect the woman, because we aren't as strong as men. And guess what? That's okay. It's okay that I will never be able to lift 150 pounds. That's okay. So I just wanted to say thank you for, you know, spreading that word, because I think it's so important. And you know, I'm 51 as well. So, you know, my mother was a feminist, and she went back to work in the 70s. She thought I was insane when I said I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. She could not understand that, which I was for almost 20 years until.
But do you understand the programming now?
Oh, I've understood the programming for a long time. And when I try and talk to my own daughter about it, she just thinks again that I'm crazy. So I'm just very, you know, I'm baby steps with my own daughter, you know, because it's same thing. I'm sandwiched on both sides. And they just think that I'm just like, I don't know what, like old fashioned, or they misunderstand what I'm trying to say. But I just keep going. And like I said, fortunately for me, I am with someone who does have that masculine energy. I love it. It's wonderful, you know, and it's okay. I do have a job now, and oddly, I'm a teacher. So again, more feminine job, right? But I just want to say I so appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Rochelle. And just remember, in the world out there, and this is for all you guys, it's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a sick society. So anytime, you look healthy, Rochelle, for 51, you know, I can see that right away. You're going to stick out like a sore thumb. 70% of the American people are obese or overweight. 33% have diabetes. Aches and pains. Most people are on about, I think, is it 7 7 medical drugs. And here's another news flash, all you light workers. Not everybody makes the shift, man. That's the fact. So conserve your energy, build your community. Conserve your energy, build your community. Knowledge applied is power. Say your prayers.
Thank you, Rochelle, for that. That was great. And I see Rhonda with a hand up, so we'll go to Rhonda.
Hi. Hi, Troy. This has been super interesting for me. So thank you. I have a question, though. I totally understand the disconnection of our feminine and masculine, our, that divine part of us. And I also think part of the chaos that we're going through now has something to do with an evolution
Yes.
of coming into a new order. So what
Yes.
do you see as the new divine masculine and the new divine feminine? What does that look like?
Well, the Maori taught me that the human being is the most technologically advanced piece of equipment in the whole entire universe. So I think God designed us perfectly. Einstein said we're only using 5% of our brain. So what's possible is a whole nother level that we're not even experiencing right now, because we have, I don't know, I haven't even studied the Anunnaki and all the Zachariah Sitchin stuff, but I know it's out there, and supposedly we've been seeded by another race that just to make us slaves or whatever. Well, okay, all right, whatever. I mean, then maybe there's seeds of some of that and our DNA has been mixed. I don't give a fuck. I'm here to advance to the level that Jesus did, right? Jesus said, you can have what I have and more. Brother walked on water and healed people at will. Bam-o, right? So that is what we are capable of. So I keep praying that into existence. I say the second coming of Christ is when we all rise up to that level, or the 144,000 or whatever mythical story. Look, they're all stories anyways. And if you know anything about story, it's all made up in the first place, including Yale and Harvard certificates. So you might as well just write your own thing, right? With the Sacred Heart, right? Because all you guys are heart-based wisdom people. Take the Sacred Heart and just start writing it, calling it into existence. My mission is to raise human consciousness and change all systems. My vision is clean air, water, soil, and equitable systems for all of mankind in my lifetime. I'm very clear. I'm calling it forth. I go through battle unscathed. I'm here to ground this mission in, so it comes no matter what. Why? Because I say so. That's magic. That's alchemy.
Damn, brother. Well, we're here to support you, man, on that mission. I love you, man. I think that's about all we got time for. So thank you so much for coming out tonight, man. This has been incredible. And I hope that I get to work with you sometime in the real world. I'll definitely link up with Rob Carney out here and try to get on your plan. But what we do is we close with a prayer to all those awakening at this time. So Shayla's going to guide that for us.
We dedicate the merit of this meeting to all of those awakening at this precious time. May our efforts to better ourselves help shift the planetary consciousness from fear into love. May this energy ripple out into the world and awaken those with closed hearts, illuminate closed minds, and inspire all to live within the presence of compassion and generosity.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, Troy, again.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thanks, Troy.
Oh, Troy, you're muted, brother. Come on. You're muted.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't want to come off like I'm on my high horse or anything, or I've arrived. We're all in the same boat. I'm doing my work. I have a lot of relationship work I'm doing. I'm working with my shadow daily. We are all in the same boat. I'm in Sedona, Arizona. This stuff brings the light and it brings the darkness. So it shines the light on everything. So I never want to come off with any kind of anything else. We
You
are
came
all
off incredibly, man. You came off nothing but love, brother.
okay.
For real.
But God
You
bless
really
you
did.
guys.
That was amazing. Truly. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.